You know, when you think about anime's golden age, your mind probably jumps to the 80s or the 90s, right? But what if I told you the real revolution, the decade that laid the groundwork for everything we love about anime today, was actually the 1970s?
See, the 70s weren't just some prequel to the main event. Oh no, this was the decade where the entire DNA of modern anime got completely rewritten. We're going to explore how a period of total crisis didn't just end an era, it actually sparked this incredible creative explosion that gave birth to the anime we all know and love.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the crisis that brought the old system down, then see how brand new genres took off. We'll dive into a revolution in realism, the Yamato phenomenon that changed fandom forever, that pivotal year of 1979, and finally, wrap up with the decade's incredible, lasting legacy.
All right, so first up, the collapse. To really get the revolution, you have to understand what came before it and how this perfect storm of economic and industrial problems basically brought the whole old system to its knees.
I mean, just look at this chain of events. Global economic shocks rock Japan, which makes production costs just soar. Industry giants like Toei are paralyzed by internal disputes, and then the unthinkable happens. Osamu Tezuka's Mushi production, the studio founded by the god of manga himself, goes bankrupt. The old model wasn't just broken, it had completely shattered.
This economic crisis pretty quickly created a cultural one. For years, the most popular genre was Spokon, these stories all about guts and determination, where athletes would overcome impossible odds with just sheer will. It was a perfect mirror for Japan's optimistic, high-growth economy. But now, with the economy stalling, those stories just felt hollow. The whole national mood had changed, and audiences were hungry for something that felt more real.
And from the ashes of that old system, something totally new started to grow. See, when giants like Mushi Pro collapsed, all that immense talent got scattered across the industry. This led to a bunch of smaller, more agile studios popping up, places like Sunrise and Madhouse, and they were hungry to experiment and break all the old rules.
And this led to a business model that would change absolutely everything. Go Nagai's Mazinger Z wasn't just the first anime with a pilot inside a giant robot, which was revolutionary enough. It pioneered this fusion of anime and merchandising. The Chogokin die-cast metal toys were a massive hit, creating this powerful, independent way to make money that could fund even more ambitious shows. It was genius, pure genius.
Now, at the same time, you had powerhouse studios like Tatsunoko Pro just churning out iconic hits, and they showed incredible range, from the cool, stylish team dynamics of Gatchaman to the darker, more serious themes of Kashin. They even perfected comedy with shows like Yatterman, a series so beloved its formula was still being remade and referenced as recently as 2008. That's staying power.
But the innovation wasn't just about giant robots and sci-fi. Not at all. The 70s also sparked this deep quest for a new kind of realism in animation. And that quest split into two very distinct, very influential paths.
So on one hand, you had the future founders of Studio Ghibli, Isao Takahata and Hayao Miyazaki. They went after realism through meticulous detail, capturing the feeling of everyday life in shows like Heidi. But on the other hand, you had directors like the brilliant Osamu Dezaki, who was chasing emotional realism. He basically invented this powerful new visual language for shows like Ashita no Joe, using stylized still frames and dramatic lighting to pull you right into a character's mind.
But the single biggest shift of the decade, the one that truly changed everything, came from a show that was, at first, considered a total failure, Space Battleship Yamato.
Okay, so its first run in '74, a ratings disappointment. But then, during the reruns, something incredible happened. A new, older audience of teens and young adults discovered its complex, mature story about sacrifice and hope. The passion just grew and grew until it exploded with the 1977 movie, which became a genuine social phenomenon. We're talking fans lining up for blocks. The very first anime boom had officially arrived.
This boom was so significant, it literally changed the language people used. The old term, TV manga, felt like it was for little kids, but fans, backed by new magazines like Animage, started using the word anime, just a shortened form of animation. It was a declaration, right? It was them saying what they loved was a sophisticated art form, not just some Saturday morning cartoon.
And all of these revolutionary threads, the new studios, the new business models, the new audience, the new artistic techniques, They all converged. They culminated in one explosive, unbelievable, pivotal year, 1979.
I mean, just think about what came out in a single year. You get Mobile Suit Gundam, which completely flipped the script on the super robot genre and gave us a gritty, real robot war drama. You get the new version of Doraemon, which became a cultural touchstone for the entire nation. You get Hayao Miyazaki's stunning directorial debut, Castle of Cagliostro. And you get The Rose of Versailles, a sweeping historical epic that helped define the shoujo genre for a whole generation. It was just an unbelievable display of creative power and diversity.
So why does this decade of turmoil and creativity matter so much today? Well, it's because it created the very pillars the modern industry is still standing on.
The way anime is made today, mostly by freelancers working with different studios, that was born from the collapse of Toei and Mushi Pro. The way it's funded, through toys and merchandise, was perfected by Mazinger Z and Gundam. The way it looks and feels often traces right back to those two competing ideas of realism. And the way we all talk about it as a serious art form, that began with the fans of Yamato.
So the next time you're watching your favorite anime, doesn't matter if it's a sci-fi epic, a slice of life story, or a big fantasy adventure, think back to the 1970s. This was the decade where, out of crisis and chaos, this resilient, diverse, and powerful new medium was forged. It's a legacy that is, truly, impossible to escape.